Right, looks like we are live. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Hope you're having a great Friday, and looking very much forward to helping you navigate all the opportunities, challenges, and information for the month ahead. Little Apollo here, waking up, sending you guys lots of love and light. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're taking a look today at Cancer for the month of October, but also the next 6 to 8 weeks, since this is a live reading. I'll be helping you through everything that you see here right in front of you. We're going to start with channeled messages first, and then we'll get into the Celtic Cross, and we'll explore all the blessings, all the challenges, and all the opportunities. Let me put down this little guy, and then we'll get started. Good job, buddy. All right, let's begin. So today, you have a really great totem coming through. We're going to be talking about rainbows and Iris the goddess, which I always like to bring up whenever we talk about rainbows. And we'll go into that in just a moment. Before I get into your totem, please, if you're brand new to the channel, I'd love for you to subscribe. It actually helps the channel growth. It helps me reach new people, and it's important, so thank you. If you'd like to follow me on social media, it's a great way to get reminders of upcoming content. I try to give you at least a day's heads up whenever I post something new or I'm about to do something new, and it's a great way to catch up if you miss something. Remember that if you do follow me on social media, I don't use direct messages and I don't offer private readings, so that'll help you sort out who's real and who's not, because usually the imposters will do all of that stuff. If you'd like to show support in real time, I already see we have a couple of stickers here, so thank you so much. That continues to allow me to upgrade equipment, do more videos, and I've actually consistently done the daily videos for the past couple of months here, so it looks like you guys enjoy them. Some of them are tracking better than some of the monthly ones, so thank you for the support there. I'm trying to beat the rain today. If I have time, I'm going to try to fit in a retrograde video, but I have to pack up all my equipment, so we'll see. Because this place is old and I have to protect it. So if I can get it done before the rain, I'll put another video out today. If not, we'll do it next week. Okay, with that being said, again, we're going to get into your channeled messages for today. Channeled messages for me come in a combination of ways: through spirit, through meditation, and then also through the research that I do when I bring all of this together. So let's talk a little bit about today's dual totem, which again comprises both the energy of rainbows and then also the goddess that personifies them, Iris. Let me just pull this open here and then we'll discuss. While I'm doing that, quick heads up, like I said, you can use this for your sun, rising, and your moon sign. And if you stick around until the latter portion, I actually go through each and every aspect there, sun, rising, and moon. Okay, here we go. So as I said, today we'll be looking at Iris the goddess, and then also the energy of rainbows and what the two things in concert really bring forth today for you. All right, so speed and fragmentation, an interesting combination of two things. So first let's talk about the goddess, and then I'll talk about how you can make the most of this. So in Greek mythology, Iris is the personification of and the goddess of rainbows. It's kind of appropriate that we bring her up because she's a little bit like Mercury. She's a messenger. She travels really fast. Her path from heaven to earth is marked by a rainbow. Like the prism of light in the rainbow, your communication has this ability to move quickly, but it also can get fragmented. And so because, a prism is basically separating that solid light into all of those different bands of light. So we could get kind of fancy here, I would say, for those of you that do some sort of a business. If you own your own business and you need to segment your markets, there could be an advantage in that. And that's a fancy word for saying, I have some people that want to receive this type of message and some that want to receive this, but when I try to put the two together, they tune out. So I'm going to specifically target. So targeting is good, but there could also be a watering down of your message. Sometimes if we put out too many types of messages, it's difficult to sort of know, like, what do you stand for? So find that happy match between sort of tailoring a message for the audience and then losing the sort of overall vision of what you're saying. You don't want to kind of say too many things in too many different ways. So hopefully that helps you out there. It can be both a positive and it can also be something that could get you in trouble when it comes to communication. The cool thing here, though, is if you want to see some quick movement when it comes to marketing, speaking, or putting something out there in the universe, it looks like there's a pretty quick return. Since many of you are watching this while Mercury is going retrograde, we'll want to take our time to make sure that the message that goes out there is the intended message. Otherwise, the flip side of this is true, which is that it's good to put good PR out there. So if you do something wrong, say that you did it wrong and then come up with a solution, and that also will help ease that situation quickly. So speech travels quickly, and that can be both beneficial and challenging. And you don't want to over-fragment or over-segment your sort of communication, because then it becomes scattered. It's all over the place. All right. Divine justice. This is really interesting. So when I say she, we're still talking about Iris here. She's a winged water-bearing goddess. She served as a chief messenger to Juno, queen of the gods, or that was Hera, right, in Roman mythology. She could travel to Hades, the underworld, where she filled a pitcher with the water from the river Styx. And that was basically the river that you would cross to go to the other side, basically. It contained magical qualities, this water that she held in her special chalice. And namely, if someone drank the water and then perjured themselves, if they lied, they fell asleep for a year. So suffice it to say, this is an important time for you to just be honest, transparent, truthful. Although, we're looking at a myth here, what we could kind of superimpose this on your life and understand is that if you're less than truthful, if something's being pushed under the surface, it'll cause a delay. And then that delay takes time to recover from. So make sure that you're always doing what's right, speaking the truth. And the other thing here is justice works in mysterious ways. I've seen this time and again in my lifetime. Sometimes you wonder, when is that person going to get their due? When is this, if they've been doing things wrong, when is that going to be justified? If someone's been working really hard, when are they going to get their break? Cosmic justice works on its own sort of, its own agenda, but more often than not, I've seen people, things come around, justice comes around. So your job is not to sort of serve justice, so to speak. It's to live with the energy of being just, being balanced, doing the right thing, helping others, and also being very decisive. Because when we look at justice versus judgment, judgment is the decision that has been made. It's the acceptance of it. It's coming back and kind of reinventing yourself. Justice is weighing it out in the moment. So there's a lot of energy this month which says you have the power to make very smart choices, to balance things out, to make a wrong a right. And if you can do any of that, go for it. And unless you're specifically a judge, or if you have a decision-making power, the rest of us are just trying to do our best to kind of stay away from needing cosmic justice to come into our lives. Let others do what they may, and we're going to focus on living our best lives. It's not our place to judge or to try to fix it or to try to make them change. That's one thing that you learn as you get older is you can try to present opportunities for people. It's a lot like these readings. I can tell someone that something's going to happen. I can show them where they can make smart decisions. But at the end of the day, it's all about free will. We all get to decide, yeah, I believe this, or you know what, I want to trust myself. And so you're going to have to tune into that compass, and that's all we can ever do is present the options. All right, let's move on to the next one here. So now going away from Iris, looking more at the totem of a rainbow. This is very technical, but it's important too. So a rainbow is a prism of light, and it's formed when sunlight hits the light at a very specific angle, namely this 42-degree angle. So it's a reflection, refraction, and dispersion, say that 3 times fast, of light particles, and that's what creates those 7 bands of light that we know and love, and that are associated with all of our chakras as well. Here's the cool thing. That energy is there, but basically, unless I should actually say the sun reveals something that was already there. It creates the rainbow. So those light particles could always create those colors, but we need the sun and the rain to hit at just the right place, like a synchronicity, to create these particles in the air for us. So sometimes it's invisible to the naked eye until that perfect moment happens. And so what you could kind of look at in your own life is either a 4 of Cups or a moon moment, where you want to look at something, you feel that it's there, but you're afraid, that's the moon. Or the Four of Cups, which is you're being shown it, but you disbelieve it. Or Judgment Reverse. There's so many different ways you could look at it. So don't be afraid. I chose the Moon because this card actually has that element of fear in it. And sometimes when we know that something's there or we should look at something different, we're afraid to just take the leap. So don't. This is where the growth is going to happen in your life. Leave no stone unturned. There's a hidden opportunity. There's a detail. If you look at the detail now, you'll possibly avoid a detour in the future. So I think it's really important to embrace whatever it is that you're being guided to look at sooner rather than later. I think we have one more card here. Let me just check here. Yes, we have one more card. All right, so the final card here is you're exactly where you need to be in this moment in time. So rainbows can also symbolize an illusion. Because if you try to chase it and if you try to go to the end or the beginning of the rainbow, you're not going to ever reach it because of that 42 degree viewing angle. So as you move, the rainbow is going to move or you're going to see a different rainbow. So you might already be at the end of or the beginning of your own rainbow. You can't actually see the energy around you. You have to trust. This is where faith, hope, and spiritual energy come through. We have to believe what we can't see. We have to see what may not exist. And we know that by kind of trusting in that energy, then we manifest. Because it starts in the head and the heart first, the dream of what it is that you want to become, what you want to create. Then we breathe life into it. We are connected to the Creator. We create our own destinies. We create our own energy and our own opportunities. So your goal is closer than you think. You're exactly where you need to be to begin this journey. The next step, I would say, is the Fool after this, but you have to stand still long enough, like the Hanged Man, to realize purpose, placement, and then the next jump, the next leap that you want to make, okay? That last bullet is important. So stand still, integrate the message at hand, then move on. And then things start to get exciting, like today's reading. Hopefully you enjoyed the totems today. I know I did. I was inspired also by, we're getting a lot of rain here in Southern California for the first time in a little bit, so I thought it would be cool to integrate some messages of rain. I always like the rainbow. I don't necessarily like the rain, but it's an important piece here. So let's move on to the next portion. We're going to take a look, like I said, at the Celtic Cross. If you just joined, we're right here. This is a perfect time to be a part of this because all of the exciting stuff is going to happen here. We're going to take a look at the Celtic Cross, then I'll expand it to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. All right, so one piece at a time here. Let's turn the camera down, give the cards a good shuffle. I've already selected a deck of cards here because, like I said, I actually put most of mine in plastic containers to protect them from the rain. So, thank you, by the way, to all of you that I see someone said they just joined them as a member. I appreciate that. That really does help, and you do get additional notifications when you do that. So thanks. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully your day is getting off to a good start or your evening is going well. I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me today. We're going to make sure that today's reading is amazing and helps you get what you need to get to the next part of the journey. let's begin, everyone. Lots of change on the horizon for you. This makes sense because we're going through a retrograde, and if I get a chance today to do that video, one thing that I like to remind folks in a retrograde period is we have a chance to make and break cycles. Particularly, we have a chance to walk away from things that are causing us pain or discomfort and move on to something that's a little bit better for us. There's always a chance to upgrade. So let's see where you have a chance to upgrade over this next part of the journey. So your catalyst this month is the Altar Priestess. It says preparation, prayer, and sacred ritual. So there's the card in reverse. Let's look at it upright. This is very much High Priestess energy, right? And a lot of this is basically saying, each and every day you have the capacity to reimagine or reinvent the possibilities. And sometimes we ascribe or assign power to others. I wish this person would feel this way. I wish this thing would happen to me. This card is saying you are the creator. You are the person standing at the forge of your own life or at the altar of your own life. So continue to create and to make great things happen. But you have to do these things here. Preparation, prayer, and ritual. It's called a spiritual practice for a reason. Every day we have to put the skills to practice. We have to practice what we preach. And we have to do so with this sort of sacred energy. Like, this is something that I believe strongly in. These are my offerings. These are the tools. That's actually quite beautiful when you kind of think of, that's part of the reason I want to protect all my cards. To me, they are my tools and they are sacred. So I put them all in like I said, 3 plastic tubs to kind of protect them. But everything that we do, we should be feeling like there's something sacred with it. And trust me, I've been in parts of my life where I feel completely disconnected with what I'm doing for like a career, or if you're in a relationship with someone, you feel like there's this disconnect. If that's happening, it's a wake-up call that it's time to, basically like we saw the moon card earlier, to be accountable, to figure out what's causing that disconnect and to plug back in. Because in this moment in time, you'll be missing out if you're not connected. Find the inspiration or decide what it is that's holding you back from being inspired. And we'll look at more of that as we go through the cards here. At the center, we actually have a really, really great card. This one always has a return on energy. So it's the 8 of Pentacles. Yes, the card is reversed, but it's still very, very positive. The 8 of Pentacles is basically reminding you that you're the constant learner, right? At any age, young or older, we always have the capacity to expand knowledge, to learn new things, and to share that with others. And if you wanted to work on something, this is the card of revision, editing, and perfection, basically. You're going to go in there and put those final edits or final touches, and it's going to be worth all the while. Completion is around the corner. It's not as close as if I had the 3 of Pentacles, but you're on the right track, and you're learning a lot. So sometimes we are in a situation where we just wish that we had already gotten the next title, the next thing, the next piece of recognition. And it's really interesting, rather, that the Temperance Angel is right on top of that, saying, slow down for a second, enjoy, connect, and be deliberate about what you're doing. Because it's that deliberate energy that's going to make sure that you're not rushing through something. I've talked about this before, and I'm sure any of you that have gone from school to professional career, you know what I'm talking about, or any training. We always want to get through the training and basically just get to the finish line, right? But it's not about it's not so much about the finish line. Sometimes that journey of soaking it in is the best piece. So if I could go back to school, which I don't want to do because it was really hard, I'm fine. But if I could go back and relive it, I would enjoy every day a lot more. I would just really listen more in class. I already listened a lot. I already worked really hard. I'd probably have a little bit more fun. I probably wouldn't have rushed through because I graduated early twice. I would have just taken my time. So my advice to you is to savor the moment, soak it in, get everything exactly the way you want it. And don't let anybody rush something to the press. So if somebody is trying to make you put something out there that isn't ready, you don't have to do it. Be patient. Unless, of course, there's some sort of an external deadline that you can't control. Patience reigns supreme in this period of time, okay? It's going to help you avoid making an unnecessary mistake. All right. Let's take a look at your deep past. We have the Page of Pentacles here. So I can tell many of you have done the work. That's basically what this card is showing me. And it is also a reminder, do you see the beauty that you have within? If you see it, others will. If you don't, that's kind of your homework assignment right now, is to really connect with yourself, and not in a sort of like, sometimes we have a hard time wrapping our head around saying positive things or thinking positive things about ourselves, but it's important. You can love the journey that you've made, the sort of growth that you've made, even if there's still work that you want to do. So you could just think to yourself, I'm so proud of how far I've come. Yes, there's some work to do. Yes, there's still things on my to-do list, but that's also what engages me. That's what gives me vitality and inspiration to get up in the morning. So I'm a work in progress. I think we can all say that, and say that with, not like pride might be the wrong word, but with compassion, with excitement for what the potential holds for that, and also with now a little bit of insight of where you want to go next. I'm a work in progress, and here's my goal, and I'm also really happy with the progress that I've made. And if you're not, you're going to make a better decision today. You're just going to shift the perspective and be a little kinder to yourself, and a little bit more goals-oriented, and things will start to come into focus for you. I mentioned the self-worth and the self-love because we have two really favorable cards here. 8 of Pentacles, you're doing good work on yourself. Page of Pentacles, kind of like you've already graduated on a soul level, even if the physical work isn't done yet. Now we have the 4 of Pentacles, which is saying, I don't know. I'm holding on. I may not be worth this. Is this as good as it gets? So we see this businessman holding on to that coin really close to his heart, putting too much worth in the title that he has, in what his family thinks about, like his job, and maybe even too much into like relationship status or lack thereof. They're just things. They're just words. They're just things that people try to get in their lives, but it does not equate to value. I talked today actually in the single card read of the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. And it is sometimes about breaking away from tradition as much as it is about saying, I'm not going to put too much weight into certain things or overextend myself. This is saying you've only just begun, like that old 70s song. There's so much more energy and potential possible. Don't hold yourself still in this moment because you think this is as good as it gets. Don't hold on to something that you've basically already learned your lesson from, whether it's a relationship, a job, or a way of thinking, because it's done. You've graduated. And this is not something that you have to sit and soak up anymore. What you want to do in this moment is to imagine possibilities, open up. And to get to that, if we look at the gateway to the 6 of Pentacles, the gatekeeper is the 5 of Pentacles, which is going to say, I'm worth it. It's a self-worth card. And I forgive myself and people that may have hurt me in the past, because that's going to open up my heart, and that's going to allow me to trust again, and that's going to allow me to bring the walls down. And and as I say that, I can feel the energetic and the emotional. Some of you are dealing with the emotional stuff. It's been coming through in readings a little bit more. So when I say that, I can feel some of you connecting to a little bit of sadness or regret. And it's not so much like hurt tears. It's more sort of like you're sad for something or a decision that you made. So release it. You're okay. You're exactly where you need to be in this moment in time. All that matters is what you do next. What you did before and you learned from it. And that's something that will help if you're actually giving someone else advice. They don't need to hear that they did something wrong. They need to hear that you love and support them, and that you're here to listen to what they want to do next and kind of help inform them in that direction. So do that for yourself. Whether you're giving advice or coaching yourself, just think all that matters is that I integrated the lesson, that I learned. Not that I made a mistake, but that I learned from the mistake. If I learned from the mistake, then I just got some education. It was an experience. And then I'm going to let go of holding on to the pain or the blame. And what I'm going to do instead today, got the King of Swords here, is I'm going to take some action, because I've earned this opportunity to step forward. And the King of Swords is one of the strongest cards you can pull, because he is confident in his communication, he's clear in his vision, and he's decisive in his actions. So of all the King cards, he's pretty amazing, actually. I mean, I like the King and Queen of Wands, but the King of Swords gets stuff done. So this period of time for you, the next 6 to 8 weeks, it basically encompasses this wonderful opportunity for you to take a leap forward. if you're willing and ready, things will start to kick off for you a little bit, okay? Even in, again, a retrograde or post-retrograde cycle, you're still going to be able to benefit from your communication skills, and you're going to be seen as someone that people want to talk to or listen to, okay? For those of you that may actually be writers, this is a really good time for you because the Eight of Pentacles is definitely connected to that, as is the King of Swords. For those of you studying law or medicine, these cards are also like, this is like a card of surgeons. It's also a card of lawyers and writers. So there's a lot of professions right now that are shining through with this Eight of Pentacles and this King of Swords. It's a very good time just to be strong leader, outspoken. And if you're learning something in one of those paths, I'm getting a lot of green lights there. All right, now we're moving to the work. I'm going to focus on one really bright spot, and then we're going to get through these three things because you did get Nine of Swords, Devil, and Death, and they need to be dealt with. But what can help you through this is look at the environment. Six of Cups. Friends, family, loved ones, love interests rather. There's something beautiful in the environment that you can tap into as we travel through some of these other things. And then we also see rapid movement here, the Page of Swords, which I chose to highlight in my channeled messages. So things will happen quickly. People around you can help you. Now let's deal with the difficult cards. What's going on right now or in the near future here? We see some stress management, but you're also understanding, because the Nine of Swords is reversed, it's not worth it. Have you ever noticed that sometimes you need that straw, that final straw, the straw that breaks the camel's back, to just sort of make you think, I'm done. And it's a blessing, even though it may have come at an inconvenient time. It's a blessing to know that this isn't what I want, or this isn't the direction that I thought it would be. And that's okay. Again, all that matters is that you make the choice to move in a different direction. How's your sleep? This can have to do with stress management and your sleep quality. Also possibly sleep quantity. So last night I had a lot to do, but I also know that I have to go to sleep at a certain time so that I can do what I'm doing here. And I'm also better able to get through the day if I get a certain amount of sleep. So for some of us, that's going to be 6 hours. It might be 4 hours for some of you. It might be 10. Whatever your bare minimum is, make sure that you're getting that so that your body stays healthy. Because we did get the Devil card, we don't want to push ourselves into sickness or into some sort of stress-related illness. That's not good. So take proper care of yourself, particularly when it comes to stress or to sleep. And even though I'm kind of jumping into health, standard disclaimers apply. I'm looking at the energy here. Our free will and our choices definitely do affect how our body reacts. So do make intelligent decisions and definitely reach out to someone if you're having some issues like insomnia. It could be sleep apnea. It could be diet. It could be something chemical, and you want to make sure that you take care of that. Mostly when I get the Nine of Swords, though, it's stress management, and it's burning the candle a little too far when it comes to the midnight oil. So make sure that you're not staying up too late. Okay, let's move on to the energy around you. So when I'm looking at you, your soul, and how you're presenting to others, you're nobody's fool. That's what I like. If the Devil's reversed, it's saying, I am tired of contracts, people, and things in my life that hold me back, hold me down, up to and including myself. Sometimes it's us, too, that has that sort of energy where we kind of, we lack imagination, or we hold on to something, because we have cousin cards here. The Four of Pentacles definitely works in concert with the Devil. This is limiting thoughts, limiting ideas, and it's also a card where you might be giving away a little too much. Because I always look for the Six of Pentacles for that energy of being just right. Always want to shoot for higher, but it's the bare minimum that I'm looking for. So I think some of you may have just been overly generous. There could have been someone in your life that knew how to take advantage of your generosity and did that. And what you're going to do today and this week and this month ahead is to stand up and to rectify that and to say, it's simple, no. You can push back on the energy of the Devil card. And so here's how we can take this and just obliterate it. What we want to do, the Devil is just the lovers in a very low frequency. Not so much in this illustration, but if we look at the traditional two cards, I'll pull them as I'm talking if I can find them. They're almost identical. We see one in the Garden of Eden, we see one not. And basically the difference is honesty, transparency, unconditional love, and basically hope, faith. All those sorts of things will be great tools against the energy of devil-like energy. So I've got the Lovers. Let me pull the Devil, and then we'll look at the two cards and discuss how you can. Here we go. This wasn't even something that I was taught. I just noticed it when I looked at the cards. They are like virtually identical, right? When you look at the placement, we have two Lovers in both. We have different types of angelic creatures behind them, and then we have very different backgrounds, but the placements, the organization, they're the same. So this is low frequency, this is high frequency. And the main difference, if we take out this character in the background, is the chains between them. And so that is the limits and the constraints that we put on one another. It comes in subtle ways. You know, I would love it if you would do this. I would love you more if you were more like this. Why can't you be more like your brother or sister? Why can't, or even telling someone that they're acting like someone or whatever. Comparisons with judgment, and then strings attached to the quantity or quality of love. That's the devil. It's also asking for more than someone should give and expecting them to give more, creating some sort of a karmic debt because of that. And so just avoid these things. And if someone tries to take advantage of you, stand your ground and say, I need this done, or this needs to stop. Take the emotional piece out. I recently got some great advice from a couple of friends when I was dealing with conflict negotiation to do that. And I knew that, but it's always good to be reminded of that. And it works, by the way, and it worked for me. Just get to the point, get to the facts, and hold them accountable. Because, and I learned this a long, long time ago, maybe it was 10 or 15 years ago. I remember when I was facing, it was close to 15, facing someone that was really, really challenging. I was instructed by a Reiki friend of mine to just actually say this mantra in my head, see my light. And so in my head, I was imagining kind of like I was like the sun. I was like, see my light. And I watched as the person was distracted. It actually interrupted their train of thought, and they looked to the left and looked to the right, and then we just kind of wrapped up the conversation. And I couldn't wait to tell the healer friend of mine. I was like, oh my God, this actually really worked. Because when I could see the low frequency thoughts and I could feel the energy, I stayed calm. And I was like, and I didn't raise my voice. And in my head, I said one thing, see my light. And then I used kind words as I was talking to the person, and their energy just melted and they decided to walk away and do something else. So it does work. You can actually push the light out and create the Lover's card there a little bit from this. And it's just about saying, I see you, I see this. This chain doesn't exist here. You're free and I'm free. There's no shackles. So if somebody puts conditions on their love to you, what you say is, it's a pity because I love you unconditionally, and you're free to think how you will, but that doesn't have an effect on me, and I don't have to be tethered to approvals from you. So I didn't ask for your critique on that, and just walk away. But that's it. Avoid unnecessary limits on anything this month, particularly in contracts. So if you're going to sign something, make sure that you look at the terms of the contract. What is it? What is the exit clause in particular? What is the exclusivity clause in something as well? How much are they taking? How much can they keep? All of those things are super important. And then just look at the ebb and flow between you and between someone else. The other thing is, this is a reveal. So if someone did something wrong, it's going to come out to you and to others. And I told you cosmic justice has its own time, its own rhyme, and its own reason. Just let it happen. You don't have to do anything here. This is going to unravel on its own. For yourself, though, don't sell yourself short, because this did come up in soul energy. Don't put conditions on others, obviously. And don't worry if they're putting conditions on you. That's actually a sign that they're not ready and they're not maybe open to receive the kind of love that you want to give. Okay? There could be a Capricorn in your life too. But what I'm seeing here with this is there is self-serving energy that is either coming from your side or their side, and you just want to kind of balance that out, and everything will start to look a lot better, okay? Focus on personal healing. in this moment in time. I haven't even gotten to sort of like looking for love, but I would say this month, focus on yourself. It's really going to be those in a relationship and those single, because and I think single and happy and single should really focus more on just staying single, but we'll look at that in a second. That being said, there could be a soulmate or a really great friend that comes into your life. For those of you that already have it, this is saying lean on that person. I see that they've talked to you a lot in the past. This is your chance to say, it's been a rough patch. I need some help. Can you support me? The interesting thing here is if you do meet someone really compelling, it could be an inconvenient sort of thing where one or both of you could be otherwise engaged. It could be like an availability thing for work where you actually aren't free to go down a path that you want. If you meet someone that you love, you might be on the rebound, they may be unavailable. Really make sure that that availability is there. The friendship certainly is, but the availability looks a little off. Everywhere else, though, what I'm seeing here is that this is a good time for you to network. This is something that I've been seeing across a few signs this month. That networking energy can open up new doors in the future. All right, let me take a drink, and then we're going to look at hopes and fears and opportunities, and then we'll look at the outcome. And interestingly enough, I had the moon card here as well on my drink. All right, so taking a quick look at, by the way, this can also be healing sibling energy or healing anything or anyone from the past. The Six of Cups can be connected to that. Page of Swords in reverse. A chance to edit, a chance to revise. You don't have to stay, and also just encouragement to say what's on your mind. But the Page of Swords in reverse is saying, I can admit that I was wrong, or I could admit that I could do better, or I know that I want to do better, and this is how I'm going to do it. So there's a constructively critical energy here that's also going to inform a better future. So I like that. This person doesn't mince words. They get straight to the point, and they say, this is what I need, this is what I expect. It's actually quite nice in leadership to have a Page of Swords reverse. They would say, you have this much time to get this done. This is what was lacking last time. You can be free to do this and this. I'd like to see something by 5 o'clock. You know exactly what you need to do. It's nice. They've given you maybe some areas for freedom, but they're going to let you know how much and how little, and you're not going to waste any time. So clear, concise, to the point, and constructively critical. This kind of communication is going to help you throughout the month, especially since we have the King of Swords here. So this is saying just to trim it a little bit, to stay a little bit more concise, and that's going to aid you and it's going to aid others as you go through that. Let's see if there's anything else here. Pages in reverse listen more than they speak. Isn't that like the hardest thing to do, to pause, especially when someone says something that triggers you? So that's something that I've worked on too. I just sort of like hold some space and think. And then oftentimes I'll say later, you were right, thank you for saying that. And I'm not afraid to tell people also if I was triggered. It doesn't always have to do with them. I'll say, when talking to me, this doesn't always work. If you can be that frank with someone, it can sometimes help. You could say, if you could start this way, I'm going to be more open. Give them like a shortcut on how to have a successful conversation with you. Because we all have something sometimes where if it's too abrupt, you need a sort of like, what is it, an icebreaker, right? So remember to do that for other people as well. All right, let's get to the fun card. We have Death, which is actually great to have in the outcome. And you're asking me, Nicholas, what are you talking about? Because it's transformation. What if this card was just a butterfly? Wouldn't you be like, oh, I love the picture, yay, transformation. But we have like a skeleton riding on a horse and we call it Death, and it scares us. It's meant to shake us up a little bit. As a reader, and I'm sure I have a lot of folks out here on my channel that read as well, I don't mind seeing 10 of Swords, 9 of Swords in your spread today, the Devil, for instance, or Death, because it shows me clearly, here's your limitation, here's your area of weakness or opportunity, and here's why it's coming through, and here's why you need to focus on it. Who doesn't like clarity? It's good. So big cards are actually very clear. You could just read with the 21 major arcana. If you need, and as a beginning reader, that's something you can do because it's very clear. You get the clear messages. So you could just take those cards out first and read with them so you can really learn that, because you only ever need one card or maybe 3 cards to get a feel on something. So this is a good message. It's saying everything's setting you up in this moment. to let go, to move on, to change. Change is indiscriminate. That's basically what the death card means. We see typically a king on the card, we'll see a peasant, we'll see a mother, we'll see a child. Sometimes here you'll also see like a pope or whatever, or a clergy person. Every single person is going to walk the life, that sort of energy of life and death. But also in our lives, the transformative energy comes through us, and we have these mini rebirths all the time. So this month gives you a chance, without having to leave the planet, to let go of a lesson and to become someone or something different. So you could change your job, you could change your relationship status, you could change your mind. Whatever it is that you want to change, that's the goal this month, is to embrace it and to be the butterfly, be the moth, whatever you want to see as another illustration of transformation. Right now, you're probably in the chrysalis or the cocoon though, and I'm trying to help you break out. And that's the goal for today, is to help you break out and spread those wings. That's basically what we're going to do next here as we take a look at the expanded forecast, where we're going to delve into health, wealth, love, and destiny. And this is going to give us more energy and more information on those pivotal sort of like pieces of our life that we all want to know a little bit more about. All right, I already talked about health. I'm really here to just help you make the best possible educated energy decisions. If there's anything going on in your physical or mental health status, you obviously want to talk to a professional. That being said, let's take a look at the cards and see some messages around health. Starting first with the Oracle card here. I love Saint Germain, and I love the violet flame, and that's what he's bringing through with this. So we have karmic release. I agree. The Six of Cups is a karmic partnership. It can be past life energy. Six of Cups, star, death, or judgment can all indicate karmic relationships. So the combination of these two means you've done this before. When I look at love, we're going to look at the lesson. So some of you are in or about to engage in a karmic partnership. But there's healing this time. You're not going to repeat the past. Saint Germain's coming through and saying, been there, done that. This time around, you get to try it differently. And it says, move beyond drama, create your own path, make room for good energy. And I was texting with a friend last night because we were talking about a situation where I'm just ready to kind of like release someone from my life. And she said, it's already happened on an energetic scale. And she's right. I sent, just for sort of laughs, the Wilson Phillips song, Release Me. But you are already there. All you have to do now is to accept, and to really, when you believe it, the other person believes it too. This was something I learned yesterday as well when I was having I was on the phone a lot dealing with some work-related things. But once you are energetic, when you've changed your mind and you've changed your heart, have you ever noticed the conversation goes differently? So if you are in a place of distress or dis-ease, then basically you're taking away your power. So the release has happened. I just want you to believe that you've let go. You've let go of this, the cycle, the person, the pain. And Saint Germain is a great ascended master. You can do violet flames, violet like the color that you see here, and the crystal there. You could work with amethyst. I have, right behind me, some amethyst. But basically, you would meditate and call in that beam of light, the violet flame. The interesting thing with violet flame energy, it doesn't just clear things, it can also heal. I've had points in my life where maybe I'm dealing with, maybe clenching your jaw, or there's a pain in your neck or back or whatever. And while you're healing with the violet flame, it actually moves into your body too and does some healing too. So the violet flame isn't just emotional, it isn't just karmic, it can sometimes even heal the body, because the body is basically manifesting some of what it feels here and here. So there's some great meditations. I have an old one, I'll have to do a new one sometime, but there's some great ones online you can find. And Saint Germain is the Ascended Master that can help open up the violet flame energy for you. And just imagine yourself, we'll do a little mini one here in today's meditation. We'll bring in the violet flame. Okay, so if you need that, stick around, and then you can always do a longer one later if you need to. All right, let's take a look at other health messages. Sleep. Getting enough sleep, making sure that the quality is good. If there's any nightmares or if there's something going on, pay attention to that. Sort that out first and foremost. That's the most important thing, because if sleep isn't where it needs to be, all of our energy is off. I think sleep and diet are two of the biggest, most often overlooked pieces to like mental happiness and our physical strength. So that's the first thing. There's a lot of energy here around what you're putting into your mind and body. So pentacles can be what we're consuming in like books, music, and media. It can also be what we're eating. And so what I'm seeing here is some erratic energy. And it kind of goes hand in hand with this. You might be going through a new change, new job, maybe just moved, maybe you're a new parent, maybe you lost someone. For me, all of these situations in my life, particularly if there's stress, I typically sometimes forget to eat and I have to look at the clock and my stomach will rumble and I'm like, oh my gosh, because you're so focused. I get razor focused. So I know that like when my mom passed away, I lost 10 pounds just because it was stress. And so then you have to work to take care of yourself and get back into a healthy place. So if you can go one way or the other, but what I'm seeing here are ups and downs, too much or too little. So regulate. Don't go to extremes. Let me see what else is coming through. There could be some peer pressure. This is in the environment. It's an overly positive card, but for some of you, you could be feeling some peer pressure. And so just one day at a time. I see someone starting a new job, whether it's new job or new first day of school, like college or something like that. I remember back early, like when I was probably in the second grade, and then also when I moved across country in the third grade, I remember being very nervous about the first day because particularly when I moved from like one coast to another, it was radically different, like culture, things that were looking at and talking, ways of talking, what the kids had learned and I had learned. I was like the new kid for 3 years when I did that, but I remember the first day of school being so stressful. Thankfully, I had a neighbor that kind of helped take off some of the stress, but don't be nervous. Be yourself. I see someone there that's going to step in. I see some cool energy for those of you that are starting something new in your life. The change takes time. Give yourself time to mourn and adjust. And don't worry about worst case scenarios. Prepare, educate, but then release and step forward because it's already happening. It's happened. It's happening. You just have to kind of go into the flow of the change. And once you accept it, you'll be a lot happier. Some of you might have had a close call with close brush with sickness or with death in your life. It could be a family member, it could be you, because we do have the devil here coming through for you. There's a feeling like, I can't control this. Sometimes we get a diagnosis and it's like, I can't control this, or someone in our life passes and you're angry because you couldn't stop it. That's a normal reaction on a human level. Find your way back to the spiritual self where you understand, like we say here, trust in the universe, that there is a higher purpose, there's a higher reason for all of this. I'd like to see a little bit more movement. The devil can be stagnant because of the chains. King cards are always seated, so that can also kind of say like we need to stretch and move a little bit. And this card indicates stagnation. So move your body and stretch. And we see like someone here that has limited mobility. You can do a lot with like chair yoga. There's a lot of things that you can do to exercise without having to always kind of like put a lot of impact on your knees and joints. I know that I've had a couple of sprains and I would never run anymore. I would walk or I would swim, maybe gentle hike, but there are some things that I don't want to do because I don't want to wear out what I have left. So be kind to your body and adjust appropriately. Back when I used to teach, I learned how to teach yoga, but when I used to take more yoga, there's almost always 2 or 3 types of modifications you can do. So sometimes if you're lacking the strength in your arms, you can kind of like put it down on your elbows, or you can sometimes go straight onto the mat if you're having a hard time, and there's always modifications. So modify according to your body, listen to your body, okay? Finally, and most importantly, if there's anything that you're doing that isn't helping you, whether that's smoking, drinking, or anything sort of self-destructive, this is a time to release it, particularly because we're in that retrograde energy. So you can do better, you can let go. Retrogrades come through to help us clear and clean stuff out. And if you've noticed something, I have cyclically even in my own life, not necessarily in my health, but like in things around me that affect my my happiness. I'm like, yeah, of course this is coming up again, and it's doing it in a retrograde cycle. There's something that I need to resolve. Let's resolve it this time because I don't want to feel it again. Okay? I think that's about it. There was a lot there to unpack. Looking at wealth, we have the direction guardian, choose your path. So, it's pretty much face value. The card is reversed, so it's saying you've already chosen it, accept what your choice is. To me, this was like judgment reversed. And this is saying you're protected in any direction you choose, but you have to choose. And a lot of times we want to release that decision-making power, it is power actually, to someone else, because then the accountability, the responsibility, the finger pointing, it's a lot easier when someone else made the decision. So this card is coming through in wealth to say, it's your turn. It's your turn to raise your hand, to speak up, to go out on your own, to do something. Yes, it's a little scary. Yes, you'll be very accountable. But with that, you also can be very receptive to the positive accolades that happen when you succeed. So it's a win-win. But the thing that could be holding you back in this moment in time is this can also be like the Seven of Cups. Like, which way? It makes me think of like the cartoons where you would see one of those road signs and there's like signs in every direction and you don't know where to go. Or sometimes if you go to a national park, you'll see one where it points to all the different countries and how many miles away. So we see all these signposts along the way. You have to decide where to go. When you do that, wow, do things open up really quickly, because you've already integrated the messages. People are ready to hear what you want to say. Things happen quickly here, and a big change is on the horizon. This is not to be feared. Think of it as a butterfly. So there's a big change, but you just have to say, I want it. And if you say, I want it, then you can get it. I always remind people, like, would you just go to a restaurant and say, specifically if you have like dietary restrictions or preferences, and just say, whatever. I had a family member that used to, like, he thought he was being funny, but it was the worst possible thing to say. He would just say, whatever's not moving. I'm like, so you want the stale leftovers from yesterday? Why don't you ask for what you want? I think he was taught by his family to not speak up or whatever. So I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. You have to ask for something. Let's not give away that decision-making ability. Say, this is what I want. This is what I'm worth. Let's have a conversation. All right, let's look at some other messages here. With respect to work and how happy you are, some of you are ready for, and I would say need, to shift out of something. This is stress that probably isn't all of your making, because the Nine of Swords is reversed, so it could be external stress. You may be staying in a situation because you like the people, right? So whether it's a volunteer job, a 9-to-5, a community outreach program, there's something good about it. There's something that you like, or someone that you like. But I don't think it's adding up right now. Nine of Swords, the Devil, and the Death card, it's saying change is necessary. You're worried maybe about having the conversation. Some of you might just be afraid of conflict. This is control too. That's actually what the Devil card is. I was listening to an old, I don't know what made me listen to it, but I wanted to listen to Janet Jackson's second album, Control, the other day. And she was very young. I think she was 18 or something when she did that, 17, 18. But that's that pivotal point where you start to make decisions in your life. And the Devil card would not want to hear that song. So you could play that song, I'm in control, because that was Janet talking herself into it and thinking I'm going to take control of my life. It was more of sort of aspirational. So that's what you want to do in this moment, is to say, I'm in control. I can do this. I have to say this. And whatever may be, but at least I've spoken my piece, okay? And I get that there's actually a warmer, more receptive energy than you might imagine, okay? Don't be afraid. Be yourself, be loving, put loving energy out there, and then release, okay? And get to the point, in and out. Shorter is better, something that is hard sometimes. It depends on your placement. For those of you that might have air, you're gonna want to talk a little bit more. It depends where you're at. But if you can get to the point, get in and out of the conversation, it's going to be better. So that's what I see. Some of you've already made the decision. It's already out there. It's going to be good. This is where your head's at. This is the outcome. It's going to release and relieve the stress. And I see some good things happening quickly. It's just this stuff that's difficult. If everything's good in your life, you could also be limiting your own potential. This is interesting. The Devil card could just be I'm afraid to try this because I might fail. So don't limit your own potential, because I don't see that here. I see a big opening card, I see a big outreach card, and I see a big butterfly, big change in the outcome. So definitely worth looking at. Some of you have to leave a situation or a relationship or a job because there's a glass ceiling of how much or who you can be. And we don't want to put boxes around you or glass ceilings around you. You want to be able to be all that you want to be and dream to be. Last thing, we're going to talk about money and finances a little bit with this. This is you. This is your worth. You are the 8 of Pentacles, which is worth a lot, actually. That tells me you've learned things, you've assimilated the lessons, you're someone who pays attention to details. These are good things. And this is saying that you did it because you wanted to be respected. But this is how it's showing up. Again, this person is coming into your life because of this. So when you push this into, like I said, 6 or 7 of Pentacles, get it out of the 4. We got to go through the 5 to get to the next level. Self-love, self-acceptance, forgiving others in the past, all of that, and then not imagining that this is all there is. Then we get this out of the way. Because when we think that this is as good as it gets, people are more than happy to step into that role of good enough. And I'm going to use a lot of different singers today, like Sarah McLachlan. There's so much more than good enough. So don't settle for anything less than the best that you can get and all that you are worth, okay? Because you've been underestimated in the past, and it looks like that's not necessary. Some of you, not all of you. And some of you might just be holding on to something because of the fear that your dream could actually come true or that you might get rejected. So I just see a nice breakthrough happening, and it mostly is just changing your mind and opening your mouth. And when these two things operate together, then everything starts to flow together in a really cool way, okay? By the way, if someone said, you can always come back later, I'll have time codes, usually within 24 to 48 hours, I put the time codes up, so you should be able to see it. So you always can and always should come back, because as we look at this over the course of the next month, there'll be some things that get a lot clearer because we're reading so far in advance. So definitely check it out again in October and see how it's resonating with you. All right, that's everything. Let's move on to one last thing, actually. Sorry, as I hit the mic here. The Devil card is saying you may be at a point where you realize you're the best person to do something. So entrepreneurial energy coming through as well, because you're tired of being told what to do. All right, let's move on to relationships. It says happiness is your birthright. The card is reversed. Someone in your life may have told you that you don't deserve something. You don't deserve to be happy, or you're not going to be able to get what you want. And believe it or not, we came to this planet with the ability to experience joy, with the divine right to be happy. And we're not talking about getting everything you want. We're just talking about existing in the energy of love and joy. You should be blissful in this life at some points, and more often than not. So if anyone in your life is taking that happiness away or making you feel bad because you're successful, happy, or fulfilled, then that is the conditional energy of the devil, and you don't need that anymore, okay? Let's take a look at love and relationships. We're going to look at it in 3 different levels, even though the last 2 are very close, but we're going to look at those of you in a relationship, seeking a relationship, or single and happy. We'll start with those in a relationship. First of all, I have to hop to the cards that are challenging. So for many of you, you're dealing with a problem or challenge either with you or your partner where something came to light and you may feel that you're out of control or they're out of control. And there may be something where you're like, I really want to make this change, but I need help. So the best thing that you could be in any of these situations is supportive, honest, and then focus on accountability for you and for your partner. And that's the main thing here. We can always get through this if both people are willing and ready to do the work. And I see some decent cards here, but it has to be a decision. I've changed and I'm going to walk away from this, okay? So for those of you dealing with a pivotal personal challenge here, whether it's some sort of health decisions that led to this, or this could be a third party, some of you might be dealing with that, and you're going to decide now, you and I are what matter, but we have to be honest and we have to change this behavior. So that's one thing that I'm picking up on because they're really big cards. I see some good things happening here. I feel like you guys have been patient with one another. You've learned a lot. There's a reason to stay invested, but some of you are dealing with something major. You could also be dealing with a pivotal change. Loss of job, loss of loved one, makes you feel out of control, makes you feel stressed. This is something I think all of us can relate to. Money, work, or external relationships that have nothing to do with the person you love, but then it kind of creates the cranky version of you. So what you want to do is spend some time playfully with the person who already has your back and talk through some of this stuff with them, because they're going to help you out of this. Nine of Swords reversed and Devil reversed. You got a best friend right there. So don't take it out on them. they're just, and don't let them take it out on you, because it cuts both ways, right? So that's what I see for those in a relationship. It's either external stress that's kind of encroaching on an otherwise happy relationship, or there's something pivotal that you guys are working on. And the only way it's going to work is honesty, commitment, accountability, and an absolute change of ways. So hopefully that helps you out. And if anyone's grieving and dealing with something out of control, maybe there was like a health diagnosis or someone was lost, someone passed away, of course the devil energy comes in, because part of the grieving process is bargaining, right? And you're like, if I only did this, or I wish I could control that. And we go through the bargaining phase, and that's when the devil comes through. Don't go there. Don't go down that train. You can't change it. And everything is happening. Remember what I said, you have to listen to one of the channeled messages. You're where you need to be right now, and you experience what you needed to experience so you can be a better version of yourself tomorrow. Once you accept that, it's a lot easier. I don't know why I needed to say that, but in those particular words, again, recently I've been able to access emotions when I'm doing the readings. So somebody needed to hear that, and I could kind of feel the tears coming on. So it'll be okay. Now you're just going to make smarter decisions, right? That's how it works. All right. So for those of you that really do enjoy kind of being with the person that you're with, I like that we also have the Six of Cups here. You've got a best friend to help you cope with all of this stuff too. Okay, on to something else. By the way, the karmic energy, I promised I was going to look at this, and I just remembered. So because there's karmic energy, we saw that with Saint Germain. The karma in existing relationships is control and honesty. And as long as you are willing to work on those two things in your karmic relationship, the friendship will prevail. You can change the pattern, because it says karma releasing. The karma is this. It's the devil. It's control, and death is the ultimate release. We're done with that now. I control myself. I'm not trying to control you, and you control yourself. And we aren't trying to make each other do things. We're not. That's not it. There's another deck that I read with, the steampunk, and the devil is. I think he's pulling like a marionette, or he's the marionette, I forget, but it's basically strings attached and trying to control someone. So yeah, that's the karmic lesson right now in all relationships is control, honesty, accountability, and doing the right thing, which is why I got justice earlier. And if you can work through those pieces of the devil card, then you're free and the relationships will prosper. If you're looking for love right now, better self-care is necessary. Some of you are just working too much, or you're too hard on yourself, or you might be leaning into some sort of a vice in your life. And again, it could be different for everyone. I don't need to list all the different vices, but whatever habit that you have right now, let that go. Focus on really like meditation, talking things out to people, finding a way to get proper sleep and proper nutrition in this moment in time. That's the first thing, because if that doesn't happen, it doesn't matter what comes through, because you're not going to be balanced or ready to receive. It does feel like those of you, and this card is perfect for what we just talked about with Saint Germain, it's a karmic relationship with a lesson attached. The lesson, remember what I said earlier? It's almost learned. It feels like on a soul level you've learned it, you just have to believe that you've learned it. And then I talked about the conversation that I had like about releasing. So all you need to do is in your head, say, I'm done. I'm done and I'm ready to receive something better. Let's let this, sitting at the altar of it could be in your house, it could be of your soul, you could meditate. You'll simply say, I've got all I need from this. I'm giving it back to you. It could be the grief, it could be the pain, it could be the lesson. Let's replace it with something higher. We'll do that in the meditation, but that's the way out of that, or the way to transform it. If you do that, then I just see you on the precipice of growth, because death is also growth. So for those that are single and looking, Ironically or interestingly enough, it feels like there's a lot of career openings that happen for you. So single and happy, single and looking, I see improvements in wealth this month. And if you're single and looking, there could be a Capricorn coming in. But I do think even if we read the devil as a Capricorn, the fact that this Capricorn came through with reverse energy means that they're probably still doing some internal work and may not be able to give you what you want. I think it's a good time to stay single and to focus more on friendships and health. There could also be an already existing relationship in the form of an air sign in your life. This could go further. I also see, however, some maturity, kind of like, it seems like there's a gap in maturity on one side. So there's an opportunity to sort of have that person that's lacking the maturity work on that. So again, I'm going to stand by what I said. It's a really good month for you to focus on personal growth, personal healing, financial healing. And once you get through that and kind of like feel like you can take a deep breath, love will come in, okay? And this time, instead of being a teacher, it might just be a partner, someone who can just enjoy this journey with you. It's going to be a lot happier. Now we're going to broaden this one last time and then we'll stop with this card. If someone in your life makes you unhappy and your exchanges with them agitate, stop engaging with them. It's a clear indication that there's something energetically askew. And this is a chance to sort of like shift out of that. Okay? Okay. Focusing now on destiny. It says trust in the universe. Cool thing with this is doesn't matter which direction we hold it. We're looking at like the center of a galaxy and basically the black hole there. And a lot of times there's that gamma ray that happens right around that sometimes. Anyway, what we're seeing here is everything has a rhyme, a reason, and a sort of pattern to it. The pattern is not necessarily revealed when you're in it. And sometimes you don't see something until you get in the middle of it. And then you think, oh, it's kind of like if you buy something off the rack at the store, it looks beautiful. You try it on and you're like, oh, I'm kind of stretched out here. Oh, look, I can, little bit of hole there. I didn't see that, or this hurts me here. Sometimes you have to try something on to understand how it fits or doesn't fit. The pattern is revealing itself and will reveal itself. Trust the way you feel as you go through that pattern, and you'll see other doors start to emerge. Like I said at the beginning, you are far from locked in. There's more that's going to open as long as you stay open. Okay? Let's expand this now. If you just joined, perfect timing. We are now moving on to the middle portion. We're going to look at the big idea, blessings and blocks, and then the viewers and readers' choice. So let's begin first with, as I said, the big idea. The big idea is, like, what should you focus on, right? We already know the presenting issues. We know kind of like how you can find your power through manifestation. But what can you do to kind of level up, +1? And that's what the big idea is going to help us with. Big idea for Cancer is the Queen of Swords. Wow. So some of you are on the precipice of finding a divine partnership. This could be business. This could be friendship. There could also be someone that comes in and says, I see you and I like what I see. So if you're trying to find the perfect job or something of that nature, there's someone who's coming in and really seeing your worth. I like that. But if we take this out of partnership vibes, what I get from this, because I said partnerships is really not what it's all about this month. The Queen of Swords is outspoken, but she's also very creative and very nurturing. So this is putting it to practice. And for some of you, you could be teaching a seminar. You could be using your hands to create something that you're going to put out into the world, a product, a service, some research findings for those of you that happen to be like in medicine or science. You're going to record it or deliver it or put it in that curriculum. And I say that because she's a teacher, a creator, a content creator, and this is the content, and this is the publishing of it. The Eight of Pentacles is a step in publishing. It's usually revision, editing, and finalizing. The Three of Pentacles typically constitutes publishing, but you're close. I like where you're headed. So you have a message, you have a product, you have something out there that's going to resonate with others. Let's get to it. Don't waste any time on that. This is also saying that, again, this month, your ability to communicate clearly, and to incite action in a positive way through the way that you speak. Even if you think it's not articulate, it's resonating. Big words don't make things better. I had a great English professor who said, keep it simple. When you look at popular music and sometimes even literature, it's about the effect that it has on people, and sometimes conversational language is appropriate. Sometimes, you don't have to just wow people. Just really put the emotion behind it. And I'm reading for Cancer, so of course you understand emotion. But combine the heart and combine the throat, and you're going to have something beautiful here. Throat chakra, that is. Okay, so good time to put out your writings, your research, your findings, curriculum, anything of written or spoken value is really coming through loud and clear. Let's look at some things that could help you with this. And even the block can help you. It helps you understand what to focus on and not focus on. The blessing is the Queen of Pentacles. The block is the Eight of Swords reversed. And it's not really a block so much when it's reversed, but let's talk about it. So the blessing, things are happening quickly. We see not really a rabbit, but typically there would be a rabbit here that's like a jackalope or something, but typically it's a rabbit. The rabbit shows that, just like I was talking about with the Page of Swords here, things will start to happen, and they happen quickly when they start to happen. It's also reminding you that you have like a green thumb or the Midas touch. As you decide to embark upon something, you get into it and you start to feel like, wow, look at how much is done. And that's actually my advice for you right now, is to go where you feel productive and focus on that for a day or two, and then kind of like vibe off that energy and do more. So find the areas that you can thrive, vibe there, and then keep doing more, and you're going to create this sort of cycle of abundance. And you can do that in a retrograde. Making and breaking. So plan to do it now. Or you can say, I'm going to reclaim my productivity. Because all retrograde sometimes is about lifting something up from the past and finishing it. So you can say, I've always intended to do this. I'm going to do the research now. I'm allowed to research. I'm allowed to begin and plant seeds in retrograde. So I'm going to do that. Reclaim something. You're going to see progress more than you imagined. And it's probably going to happen before retrograde is done. Again, many of you are watching this in probably in October when we're already coming out of it. But if you're watching it live with me now in September, or even if we're in the shadow at the beginning of next month, you just want to remember it's okay. You're being led, and the experiences are going to lead you down that right path. A lot of development, a lot of work, a lot of abundance coming through. I like it. It's a maternal card, so some of you might also want to go into teaching or mentorship. It's a card of birthing, so some of you could either literally be deciding to extend your family or start your family, or you could be letting go of something. Again, a project or a way of thinking or being, and that's going to be allowing you to have a rebirth, because death also leads us into that energy of rebirth. So birthing and rebirthing, releasing, all of that is coming through. And when you do that, things come in to fill that void. It's not just empty space. You have to hold the space for something new to come in, but know that something new will come in. That's been the message, the consistent message of today. The block is you're seeing something you didn't want to see. The Eight of Swords in the upright position is ignorance is bliss, but it's not really. It's saying I'm going to ignore this, or it's easier to feel like I'm trapped. I'm afraid. I don't know what to do. The reversal of this is seeing an outcome, but sometimes still feeling a little apprehensive. There's something about it, because we're looking at it from the perspective of a block here, that if I didn't know this, I wish, or you're beating yourself up, I wish I had seen it, or how could I not have seen this? There's nothing positive to sort of come out of that. It might be good to know what you can avoid in the future, but here's the facts with the Eight of Swords. Something needs to be dealt with. You're seeing it now, and you can't unsee what you see. You can't unhear what you hear. You can't unknow what you know, or forget what you know. So basically, this is saying, okay, what am I going to do about this? Once you make a decision, the Queen of Pentacles comes in, and you're going to be fine. It's just about making that decision. Very manageable blessing and block, I would say. All right, let's move on to an interactive element here, the readers and the viewers' choices. I'm going to pull the cards down for a sec, or pull the camera down rather, and take a look at the cards, and we'll see what we should be focusing on. All right. I like to make sure that we look at the hardest card. So as a reader, I'm going to tackle El Diablo here. But I'm going to put the other options for you so you can decide how deep you want me to go into some of these. But that has to be dealt with. Let's look at the rest. Okay, so I always take the toughest. Okay. I think it would be important to look at stress management for some of you. Stress management. I think for some of you, easing into change. You can choose, if you guys vote for two that are even, I will read them both. Stress management, easing into change, I feel like letting go is part of easing into change. Let's see, picking a direction, picking a path. I think that probably constitutes the highest ones here. Yes, one last thing that I'll put in here is how to release the karma when we're looking at relationships. Okay, these are good. Take a look and vote on the one that you like the most. I'm going to look at limitations here because I didn't put that right. Yeah. The karma, well, there's a little bit of that. So I'm going to specifically focus on what's limiting you. Maybe, yeah, we'll focus it on that way. Limitations and releasing limitations, and then I'll look at karma in a relationship separately if you guys choose it. Okay, let's stop talking and start pulling cards. The devil, why did it come through? What do we need to focus on? What limits are coming through? Are they from us or are they from others? Why is it there besides the karma? This is a good devil-related card, actually, the Seven of Pentacles. Know your limits and stick to those limits. The Seven of Pentacles can be a people pleaser. And what happens with the Seven of Pentacles is it's a cousin to the Seven of Swords. Good intentions gone awry, basically. Seven of Pentacles become Seven of Swords when they basically say yes to too many people. So if you are already overwhelmed, and you know that there's no way that you can go to a party or get something done by 6 o'clock or pay a bill, but you say that you can, you've created karma in that moment. You've created difficulty as well, and you've overextended. It may not, maybe you'll magically be able to get through it, but you're pushing with the Seven of Pentacles, and you're probably going to end up on the Seven of Swords side if you keep doing it. So what you're going to do instead is say, I would love to help you. It's going to have to be next week, though. Today, my schedule's full. Or you can think to yourself, I want this thing, but I need to save more money. Or I'm spending too much and I need to let go of some things here, and here. This is learning where to prune. It's a gardening card, and it's learning patience, limits, and also like where to cut things out. The Seven of Pentacles ultimately becomes the Eight of Pentacles, which you already have. The Seven is coming through as the test which you've already passed, but may still have a temptation to kind of like, that was fun. Can I just do that one more time? Don't do that. Whatever the overextension is for you, don't do it. That's the only way that devil energy will come back in, is if you do something you know you shouldn't do, and you commit to something you know you shouldn't commit to, and then you're going to have to work really hard to dig yourself out. That's why there's a shovel on the Seven of Pentacles. So let's not go there. You already know it before it happens. So this is completely avoidable. All right, let's see what you chose for me. We have a pretty clear energy here, how to release the karma, 35%. So let's take a look at that. So this is going to be in existing relationships. So if there is a karmic relationship and you're like, how can I fix it, or how can I elevate this and release the karma? Or if you notice the same thing happening in your life, because we're going into retrograde for those watching live, and it's sort of like, I want to make sure that this cycle doesn't repeat. So let's look at the cycle in the biggest sort of possible terms. Karma all over your life right now. What's the big lesson and the big release, so that you don't have to keep repeating? So kind of like a preview of what I'm going to do for some folks if I can get the retrograde video done before the rain. you have to act quickly. So we have the Four of Swords in reverse. So the Four of Swords in reverse is saying, I just want to kind of drag my heels a little bit. I'm overworked, but I know that if I sleep on this opportunity, it may pass me by. Very interestingly enough, I have two of the Insomniac cards that one could pull. The Nine of Swords and the Four of Swords reversed. It has to be reversed. Nine of Swords, it can be upright or reversed. But with this reverse, normally this would say, let's put it to rest. Let's just, let's chill out. But when it's reversed, it's basically saying, I am not giving myself time. I've scheduled myself so many hours. I'm waking up at 2 a.m, etc., etc. So karmically, take the action necessary and then take care of yourself, because this isn't sustainable. That's the truth on this. That was one of the reasons why I had to, from my past environment, I had to move, even though this one now I'm having some challenges with. There was construction and I was getting up every morning, like I said, at 2 or 3 a.m. So you can't do that all the time. You have to have proper sleep. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself, and make sure that you take rapid action on something that needs to be attended to, and then allow for appropriate recovery. The other thing is, you can't force something. This is a card of release. So ultimately the message this month is, it's over. Something's over, something's come to a close, and something new is happening. If we look way in the distance, we can see the rising sun. There's always the rising sun in the two of the darkest cards, the Ten of Swords and the Death card. And death to me is just, again, it's transformation. But we always see a rising sun saying this is a new day. What has been, what is happening is happening. Let's focus on what the new day brings. So if somebody isn't answering you, if somebody has moved on, if someone is silent, let it be. They are communicating, but in a very sort of passive way. So this is things passing through your life or passing on, but sometimes you don't get the last word. And I guess that could actually be the ultimate karmic lesson, is if someone needed to have the last word or needed to disconnect or phone out or ghost you or whatever, that was their choice and they turned off that conversation. Now, what you can do on an energetic level is just have a little prayer between you and the divine. Say it towards that person one time. Let's not do it all the time, and just say, I release you. And I'm sorry that we couldn't wrap things up on a better level, but I'm ready to move on. And clearly you've already moved on, so I'm going to respect that. And focus on the rising sun, right? I think that's going to be amazingly helpful for you. You can't make someone fix something, love you, or come forth or answer your call even if they don't want to, right? As frustrating as that may be, we've had that happen before, like with customer service and things of that nature. You can't always get the call that you need. So move on and go down a path where there's more openness and more engagement. Okay? We're going to move on now to sun, rising, and moon messages. This is going to give us a chance to basically get a little bit more clarity on those aspects of your chart if you happen to know them. And I do advise, this is what I look at too if I have the time. I will always look at sun, rising, and moon because it helps me understand where I'm at, what other people think of me, what hidden lessons I need to sort of be focusing on. It gives you a nice all-encompassing view of your life. Sun, rising, moon. Very interesting that the moon is in alignment with today's message. But let's begin first with sun sign messages. We have the Knight of Pentacles coming through for you. So things are going to start to move pretty quickly. You are going to be the agent of change for this. Knights create their own momentum. They're not afraid to take something and share it with someone else. They're not just a messenger, they're actually an active participant. But the thing that's important in a knight, if we think of them like traditionally, there's a code of ethics. You got to do the right thing. There is a sense of dedication and duty to whatever it is that you're doing. So take yourself and take your task seriously, and then start moving. It's a card of movement. So you may say, if you're watching this in retrograde, what do I do? In retrograde, it's about planting seeds, getting research, Making appointments for the following month for things to happen. You can still have early conversations. Just hold off on the contract if you can. If you have to sign a contract, really get prepared. Have someone take a look at it. Make sure that everything is ironed out. But movement is happening for you sooner rather than later. And you are right at this precipice too of, remember we had the direction guardian? What are you trying to do? Where do you want to go? The sooner you know, the sooner the universe can open up the right path and you can have like a sea of green lights instead of a bunch of red lights as you're trying to drive. Okay? So that's the message. Take some action, do the planning, and have a direction. And if you do that, we see a lot of growth and a lot of development when it comes to money, resources, personal development too. We're not just looking at like work, but it looks pretty good to me, I have to say. Okay, that's really all there is. This is a good month, actually. Fiscally, it's coming through very good. You're going to be, and at least if you're not better off, you're going to have a better understanding of how to get there. And then again, it's a decision of how quickly am I going to act on this? All right. Moving from the sun to the rising, we have a release of a painful situation. I talked through that earlier when we looked at all of the relationships. And this is basically saying, I choose happiness, right? Because happiness is your birthright. That was one of the messages that we got. It's difficult sometimes to do what's right for you because you may fear the lens of judgment from your parents, from society, from coworkers, from anybody in your life, quite frankly. But at the end of the day, true friends will say, is this what you want? Do you feel happier? Then I'm here for you. I've talked before about my best friend when we hadn't seen each other for like a long time and we went to a reunion. He didn't really care where I worked. He didn't care where I was living or what I made. He just said, are you happy? Good. And I remembered why he was my best friend back in school, because nothing had changed. He had he really wants the best for everybody. That's the best question that you can ask when somebody tells you what they're doing or who they're with. I'll say, does this bring you happiness? Are you truly unconditionally above the moon happy now? And if someone says yes, I'll say, well, thank goodness, I'm happy for you too. That's all that matters. Who cares? All the status and all the other stuff doesn't matter. So you're going to choose the right thing for you because it's the right thing for you. And you're going to let other people do the same. And you're not going to worry about it. And so this right now is a chance for you to heal. So as I'm looking at rising and ascendant, people will be looking at you and they could be picking up on this fact that you may be on the rebound, you may be healing a little bit, you may be starting to find this new strength or this new sort of perspective that I'm talking about. But as you get into that, it's also like you're on the rise, right? We're looking at rising, it's kind of interesting, but I feel like your star is on the rise, but it's just kind of chugging a little bit here at the beginning. So focus on forgiveness, focus on empowerment and empowering thoughts, and focus on surrounding yourself by people or with people that love and support you unconditionally, because karmically that came through a few times as one of the things that we have to really make sure that exists here is unconditional love. That's one of the big messages here for you this month as well. Okay? Beautiful overall. But give yourself time. I would say the one thing I'm looking at here with rising and ascendant, don't rush anything. Don't make a decision until your heart is stable and until your emotions are in a good space. When we are frantic or emotional or triggered, we don't see things. And I need you to be able to see things. Get a second set of eyes and ears to help you make a decision if you have to do it when you're under duress. Focusing on the moon sign, it's pretty good. And it's very much in alignment with what I said today. So the 10 of Pentacles in the upright position can indicate love and marriage and partnerships and abundance and wealth. When it's reversed, it's saying, I need to slow down a little bit. Maybe I've been putting too much energy into having some of these things. It's kind of like The Great Gatsby. If you ever read or watch the movie, like Daisy is very 10 of Pentacles reversed sometimes. It's all about things, right? And things, as we learn through the tragic main character and the writer that kind of hangs out with him, they're not so important. It's more of like, you want to be able to trust the people in your life. So I would actually say the message for you, very similar to today's one card reading, is less is more. But we're going to frame it a little different on this. It's actually about the people in your life. I think that what you want to focus on is the quality of people, not the quantity of people. the way that you feel when you engage with someone or something, not what its brand is, whether it's a company or something that you're wearing or what kind of status it has, doesn't matter. So we're focusing on feeling it, mind, body, and spirit, and embodying the Ten of Pentacles, which is you are rich, you are valuable, you are worth all of this and more. And then it comes to you naturally. The stuff around you, they're just cherries on top, okay? So if you've got a lot of cherries all over the place, it's like you're doing great. But if you're trying to reach for that, don't. Just be complete, and that the cherry on top will naturally come to you. And I think that even when I pull the reversal, there's always the ability to get this Ten of Pentacles energy, which is saying like you're already nearly there, but there's a little bit of a thought that just has to be turned around, okay? I like that the Ten of Pentacles here are these little light globes coming down, little stars. So reach for your own star, be your own sort of bright energy. Don't try to do that for someone else. You're not shining for the whole world, for your whole family. You don't have to carry that kind of weight. Reach for your goal. Know that you have a really good chance of accomplishing it. Hold that near and dear to your heart and just be happy. Be happy. Less is more, and quality over quantity. That's the message. All right. We have come now to the latter portion of the reading. We still have one major question left. So before we get into the meditation, take a moment, pause, write down a question that you have for me. Don't type it into chat just yet. You can tell me later what your question was, but not until I pull the card. So just focus on formulating your question, write it down. We're going to do a very brief meditation here with Saint Germain and the violet flame, followed by a sound bath, and in about 2 to 3 minutes, I'll look at that question that you have for me. All right? In the meantime, I would like you to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just let everything go as you do that. I'm going to take a drink as you do that, and then we'll regroup. And I'd like you to really pay attention to the length of your breathing and also making sure that you're bringing more oxygen in. So let's take a really deep breath together. Hold it at the top of your lungs for a second. Stretch a little bit if you need to. Extending your energy, extending your light. Exhale, bringing everything down. Letting your neck and shoulders relax and just closing your eyes. At this point, I want you to see yourself on a beautiful beach. Maybe it's like Hawaii is kind of what I'm picking up on. So imagine that you're on one of the Hawaiian islands, one of the beaches. And to me, it actually feels a lot more like, it could be sunset or sunrise, it doesn't matter, but the colors in the sky include purple. Have you ever seen one of those sunrises or sunsets where it's actually like yellow and purple and a little bit of, and the shades in between all of that? It's beautiful. So I want you to focus in on the purple energy. Imagine that there are some clouds that are picking up on that. And there's a single ray of light that comes from one of those clouds that has the purple light. And as that violet energy reaches your heart space, just take another deep breath and allow for that to start to integrate with your subtle body. With each breath that you take, see that there's just warm, sort of unconditional love that washes through you. If you've ever had the benefit of being around an ascended master, an angelic being, or God itself, and you kind of like connect with that in a meditation, you know what I'm talking about. It's a feeling of warmth, safety, happiness, and bliss. Otherwise, just imagine you had like the best night ever sleep, and you realize it's the weekend, you don't have to get up. It's just this feeling of relaxation. Let the warmth and the light, this beautiful sort of purplish violet light, come through and bathe over your body. And as it starts to work through, even on a molecular level, it's going and it's reprogramming. Old fears, old doubts, they melt away. Any sort of karmic energy that you were holding on to, it starts to melt that away as well. And if you were to look at your body from afar, you would just see this beautiful violet outline of a human body. And you would also notice 2 wings behind you. So you're connecting with your heavenly self, with your non-earthly body. And it's also the indication here for many of you to kind of like become the butterfly. So imagine as the violet flame works its magic, you can see two beautiful purple butterfly wings kind of extending from your shoulders and going outward. And the intention in this meditation is not only to heal and release, but to make it easier. Make the next step of this journey a little bit easier. Okay, relax. I'm going to play this singing instrument here for a few moments, and then we'll come back and we'll look at your final card. As I'm doing this, breathe, see the light continuing, and if you want to imagine that you're just sort of taking flight and coasting in the air around the sort of purple clouds, you can do that as well. Allow yourself to slowly drift back towards the surface if you were flying in the air. Allow your energy to start to slowly come back into a cohesive humanly form as well. Take a moment here to basically seal off the heart space so that that beautiful healing energy can do its work. You can rub your hands together, feeling the warmth, the light, and the energy that you always have. Put your left hand on your heart, your right hand on top of that. Take 3 deep breaths at your own pace. As you get close to that third breath, I want you to focus on the question that you have for me. Keep this question in your heart, keep it in your mind. I'm going to pull the camera down now, and we're going to take a look at the final card for today. Okay, so for those of you that were asking a yes, no, this is an affirmative card. The Ace of Swords is yes, a positive yes, taking action, making things happen faster than you think. From a time perspective, it's pretty quick, I have to say. It's associated with the number 1, so it's going to be a day, a week, a month. It's not usually much longer than that. It's pretty quick. It can be up to a year, but nothing beyond that. So we're looking at very quick movement. I would say more in the matter of days or weeks, and that's exciting. So this is a period of rapid growth, rapid change. There may be some necessary cutting and pruning that you need to do. When I look at this particular ace, notice how some of the laurel around the sword or whatever it is that's around it is kind of coming off. And I would say there are some things in your life where it's time to prune, it's time to let go. This can involve just speaking your truth and saying, I don't want this, or no to this, and then just letting whatever needs to be in that moment. This is also an encouragement for those of you that might be thinking of writing something or submitting something or somehow reporting something, that this looks pretty good too. The words, whether written or spoken, or the data, again, it could be sort of like findings or things of that nature. It all looks pretty good to me. It's a very good time for you, and we see the next month being stronger than this month because of that kind of energy with the Ace of Swords. All right? I hope I answered the question there for that final card. And so let's now take a look at we're done now for this reading, but I just want to say, if you haven't yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, and also share this with others in your life that you think might benefit from it. I'm always welcoming new people here, and I'd like to reach more people because I put a lot of energy into this, so feel free to share. If you want to follow me on social media, my handle's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh. No punctuation, no extra backup accounts, none of that jazz. The only one that's different is Twitter for character reasons, but it's just an Ashbaugh. So avoid anybody that reaches out to you or offers any product or service, and let me know about that so that I can report them as well. Also, if you'd like to show love and support, you can do that. In fact, I'm going to thank everybody now that has made today possible. So I'd like to start off with brand new members first. While I'm doing that, if you're an existing member, thanks for your support. You have special perks, as you know, like voting twice for a reading. In case there's a tie, you can break the tie, and sometimes for Q&As you get a chance to ask a question. All right, so let's take a look here and see who is the newest members here. So Flavy, I think it is Flavy D. Thank you so much, brand new member, good to have you. Sheena Davis as well, rejoining after 3 months. Nancy in the Garden, thank you for your star membership. That's great too. That's an extra level, and it means a lot. Paula, thank you for brand new membership. And that's everybody from today or from earlier, later yesterday, I should say. For super stickers and super chat, let's get to that and then we'll wrap up. All right. So for today, kicking things off, we have Sunshine Finney. Good to see you again. I'm glad you enjoyed today's reading. Teresa Marrero, I think it is. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Aphrodite Goddess 369. Thank you very much. Always good to see you here. Bonnie Hagen, love and light to you too. I hope you enjoyed today. Bun, thank you. And 20 Dragonfly 201, thank you as well. Let me see if I missed anyone. I don't think I did. Great. And let's see if there was a couple of people highlighted their membership as well. So thank you to Stephanie for your 23 months of membership. That's amazing. Thank you so much. And let's see if there was any other highlighted ones. I think that's it. But yeah, Nancy, thanks for, I see you're in the chat. Thanks for that star membership. I appreciate it. All right, everyone. That brings today to a close. So I don't have the video teaser up yet. I'll do that before I break down my equipment today. But I'm going to, of course, do my Sunday collective on Sunday. And then we'll be back next Monday, Thursday, and Friday for all of the monthly ones. So I'll try to get at least the next 2 up so you can see it. And in the meantime, thank you very much. And Isha Marie, thank you for your membership for 9 months as well. All right, everyone, take care of yourself. I thought today was a really beautiful reading. The karma and the karmic release is going to be so important because that's going to put you into a really positive trajectory for the rest of this year. Okay? Mercury retrograde can be a good thing, and that's how you want to embrace all of this. All right, everyone. Lots of love and light to you. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on Sunday, as well as the daily readings. Okay? Bye-bye.